Hello, reality escapers. I don't know if I'm going to call you guys that. I don't know if I need a name for you guys, but anyway, my name is Ghostboy259. This is Escaped Reality, which is like a podcast aftermath type show. It's almost completely audio based, so there's no real need to look at your screen, but in the background, I'll just be having random gameplay. Escaped Reality is the Aftermath podcast. We're going to talk a little bit more casually about the video, the production of the video, and we're going to look at some of your comments as well, because a lot of people have asked my opinions on things, or they have said, oh, why did you do this instead of this? And I just like to answer that directly. If you're not a fan of the casual tone of this because it's not scripted, I completely understand. In 3 weeks' time, on May 24th, there will be a new, well-scripted video. There'll be a sneak peek at the end of that, and I'll talk a little bit more about that as well, because it's a different series from what I've been doing. So anyway, if you haven't seen the video we're talking about today, it is tower defense. As of right now, it's got... Let me check on that, actually. I probably should have had this open. I'm very unprofessional, very relaxed, not heavy editing on the audio. 150,000 views. It's only been up for like 6 days at the time of recording this. Today we just passed 10,000 subscribers, so I'm super thankful for that as well. And also I'm by myself. If you watched the last Escaped Reality, I had my friend Gundam Fang with me. I'm on my own today, just because the guy that I was supposed to do it with couldn't make it, and... it's just, if you're not into tower defense, then I don't really see why you would want to be here. So I'm just going to be answering some of your comments, talking about this episode in general. So I actually posted on the community thing that I wasn't too happy with the episode. Basically what happened was, by the time I uploaded this one, the idle game, clicker game video had 250,000 views. Like, the algorithm had picked it up and it exploded, and then everything had gone really, really quiet. And so I was incredibly nervous because I felt like I had these expectations to just hold up to, really. And so I kept, I had done the voiceover, I had done the footage and stuff, and I was just staring at it like every single day. I would open the file and then I wouldn't touch it. And it was just that for like weeks. And then finally I was like, okay, I have to release Escaped Reality, and I have to say the video is coming out next week. And then that forces me to finish it because I have to get it out and I have to move on from it. Did not have high hopes for it because I didn't know. I knew it wasn't that good. And, in my opinion, it's not that good. And so my goal was like, if I could get 10,000 subscribers, because when I uploaded it, if I had 10,000 views, because when I uploaded, I had 5,000 subscribers. So I'm like, that's a fair number. Obviously, it's way surpassed anything I could have hoped for. At this time right now, it has 150,000 views. It's gotten like 100,000 in the last 48 hours or something ridiculous like that. And so a lot of people have been commenting, leaving nice comments, very positive. But a lot of people have had a lot of questions, and we'll get to those in a little bit. So basically, the clicker video I made, I started writing that in 2015, and then when I decided to take video making seriously in 2018, I basically stripped down what I could of it and then rewrote it, and I still had a foundation to work on. Tower defense I had to write straight on my own, and I knew what games I wanted to play, but I didn't know exactly how I was going to... Well, no, that's a bad way to word it. I knew what games I wanted to play, but I had to play them first. There were some games like Plants vs. Zombies, Dungeon Defenders, and stuff like that where I hadn't actually played these games before, but I knew I wanted to talk about them because I knew they were big names in the tower defense genre, if you will. And I missed some. I always tell people to comment games that I missed, and tons of people told me about stuff that I missed. I try to start off with something that's like the most unique, the most basic, and then work my way up from there. So if there's something that's like not quite a full step up different, but like half a step different, it just feels like it would be tedious just to mention it, just to name drop it. But otherwise, yeah, so this video, I didn't have a lot of time to sit on it. I wrote it, and then I did all the voiceover stuff, and it was a nightmare. And finally, I was just like... Sorry, my dog's walking in the background. Finally, I was just like, I have to get this out. I have to do this. And so I was so overwhelmed by the positive response of the first one. I was like, no one's going to stick around. No one's going to find this. Surprisingly, a lot of people found this one and then started just watching and subscribing. So very thankful for that. There are a couple of editing mistakes as well. I normally give myself, like, with the clicker one, I gave myself like 2 weeks, and I watched the video every single day to make sure there weren't any mistakes. I did not have time to do that for this one. So there's one point where I called Kingdom Rush just the generic tower defense because I copied the label over, but I didn't change the name. Little things like that, but I also did a little bit more than what I normally do. I started adding musical credits because I felt like a lot of people were asking me for song names and stuff, and I just want to make sure that everyone gets credited for anything they do. For the record, all the music I use is from the Creator Studio at the YouTube Creator Studio. It's all in the royalty-free library. You can go look it up, download it for free, and use it all in your videos. So those guys are great who do that kind of stuff. So if you ever watch one of my videos and think, oh, you're using the same music as this other YouTuber, that's probably why, because they also are using this royalty-free stuff. I guess we'll dive into the comments. I don't know how long this is going to be because it's just me, but there are quite a few comments that I want to talk about. Well, actually, no, there's not, but it's going to be they're going to be long answers for them. So the first one is unfortunately me saying cameo balloons. And I don't really have a good excuse. Like I said, the video is a little rushed. If you don't know what I mean, I refer to camo balloons. I can't even say balloons. Camo balloons as cameo balloons. And the reason why is there's a website called Cameo. And you can pay celebrities to give you shout-outs. Or not like you, but you can like have them shout out your friend. I had bought something on there at the same time that I begun writing tower defense. And then I just completely, I used to make this mistake when I was like 7 or 8, and so I just didn't think about it, and anytime I was working on this video, it was like past 8 p.m., so I was already tired, I was already a little bit distracted, and yeah, so that one just completely slipped under the radar. I didn't have anyone review this one like I did with Clicker Heroes. There was no one there to catch it. And I wanted to delete the video, fix it, and then upload it, but by that point I had already had like a couple thousand views within the first couple hours, and I was like, well, I guess it's just there forever. I tried to pin a comment to save myself. Not a lot of people saw it. So, yes, I'm aware it's camouflage, not cameo as in a cameo appearance. If I had the power, I would either go back and change it to camo, or I would like Photoshop random celebrity heads on the balloons, but that would take too long, and I can't do either. So I apologize to anyone I offended by getting the wrong word. I'm only human. I do make mistakes. These are two comments. Now, I've deleted these comments because I don't want anyone to go after these people and attack them. Not that I think that anyone would do that for me anyways. But I did delete these two comments because they're very dramatic, and I just want to discuss kind of what they're about. The first one was, do you not know about the existence of Bloons Tower Defense 6? I think I can safely say that you've wronged the Bloons Tower Defense community, which is very dramatic. The second one is, I'm extremely disappointed that you played Plants vs. Zombies just to put it in the video, but you didn't play Bloons Tower Defense 6 or Dungeon Defenders 2, considering how much praise you gave their predecessors, considering they're both free as well. First off, I've heard that Bloons Tower Defense 6 is not free. Maybe it's free on mobile, but I think you have to buy it on Steam. Dungeon Defenders 2, I said in the video that I would play the second one once I had a chance. But the main thing here, so many people said, where was Bloons Tower Defense 6? So, I said in the video that I was mainly going to talk about Bloons. This isn't like a video of me being like addressing the controversy around Bloons Tower Defense 6. This is literally just me responding to the comment. The most commented thing, easily by far, was Bloons Tower Defense 6. That and Kingdom Rush, but I'll talk about that in a second. Bloons Tower Defense 6. I said in the video that I was mainly going to talk about 5. I've been playing 5 for a long time. I remember playing 5 when I was in high school still. And so I just remember... Oh, maybe not high school. I don't remember. I don't know how old it is. Anyway, I remember playing 5. I had an account. I had a bunch of stuff unlocked, and so it made sense for me to talk about it because I was the most familiar with it. I had thought about going back and talking about 1, 2, 3, and 4, but in my head it just didn't really make sense, and it was unnecessary, because these are the upgraded versions. And I left a comment as well that was pinned on the page, but a lot of people seemed to miss it. So just to recap what that was, basically, if I wanted to include 6, the video would have taken a lot longer, and I was already missing out on a lot of views because a lot of people were coming to my channel for the idle games and going, oh, it's too bad you don't have anything else, and leaving. And I wanted to get something out because I wanted to be like, hey guys, I'm here, I'm serious, let's keep doing this. So if I wanted to play Bloons Tower Defense 6, I wanted to give it the attention it deserved. I wanted to take like a week and just play it every single day for a few hours, really get to know every in and outs of it. And I didn't get a chance to do that, and I haven't gotten a chance to do that. A lot of people have been asking my opinions on it, so I might do a video on that at some point, but it would be very different from Reality Escape. It would be just like what I'm doing now, a very casual, like, hey, here are my thoughts on Bloons Tower Defense 6. Because obviously I loved 5, and I don't think I've wronged the community by saying that I loved 5 and praising 5. And I don't think that I've wronged the community by not playing 6 yet because I just haven't had the time, you know? Like, there's plenty of games out there that I want to play. I don't think I've wronged those communities by not getting a chance to play. I know this is one comment, and I know that you can't tell how old people are. This person who left this comment might be like 14 years old. That being said, I just want people to know that I didn't leave Bloons Tower Defense 6 out to disrespect it by any means or disrespect the community. Once again, not that this person actually speaks for the entire community, even though they can safely say. I just want people to know that I will play 6 eventually. I just didn't have the time, and I wanted to be thorough with the video. That being said, number 5 also had co-op, which number 6 does not, and I wanted to cover co-op because it led into Dungeon Defenders, and it's something that I really wanted to press down on, like, this is really cool and more people should do this. And then I also wanted to talk about Bloons Tower Defense battles, which a lot of people are saying I'm using old footage of both. This is literally just typing into Google Bloons TD5 and Bloons Tower Defense battle, and these are the first 2 links that pop up. These are always the links I've used, and when I saw and encountered other people playing, I just assumed that it was normal. I didn't realize that there are all these new things. There's a YouTuber by the name of... I'm going to have to cut out this awkward space while I search for his name because I forgot to get it. YouTuber by the name of Aliens Rock. And he has quite a few subscribers, almost 200,000, and he is mainly a Bloons guy. He all of his video content is about Bloons and stuff like that. And he left a comment saying he liked my thoughts on co-op, and he was wondering what my thoughts on 6 were as well. And when I went over and I watched some of his stuff, because I had known about him before, back when I was like super into the game, and I saw a lot of his new stuff, none of it looked recognizable to me, even like the tower battle stuff. It all looked very different. So clearly a lot has happened, and I didn't catch up. But at the same time, had I caught up on all that stuff, I probably still would have made the same decision to just stick with 5, because that's the one I know the best. And the idea wasn't to say 5 is better than 6, it was just to say, I like 5, let's talk about 5. If enough people ask, I'll probably do a follow-up and just talk about 6, just because a lot of people are commenting about it. And yeah, so I hope that clears that up. Like I said, no disrespect to Bloons Tower Defense 6. I have no problem paying for it. I loved 5, and I will absolutely try 6. And same with Dungeon Defenders 2. A lot of people have been saying that either Dungeon Defenders 2 is way better, or it's a cash grab and it's way worse. Regardless of how you feel, which I appreciate people leaving their comments because they're like, hey, don't get too invested or whatever. I'm probably still going to play it. I don't think I'll do a whole follow-up video on that, just because I'm playing Dungeon Defenders with one of my friends right now, and once we finish one, we kind of want to move on to the second one. And then I heard there is also a new Dungeon Defenders Awakened, and then Bloons Tower Defense 6 co-op is getting a mode, and all this other stuff. So, yeah, I did leave some stuff out, and in the future, if I'm not addressing something like that, I will make sure that I comment on that in the video. A lot of people thought that maybe I just wasn't aware that Bloons Tower Defense 6 was out, but if you go back and look at the raw footage, and I'll include this in the video that you're watching right now, almost all of the ads that were next to my Bloons 5 tower defense footage was advertising for 6. I was very aware it was there. I just didn't get a chance to play it. A lot of popular games were not mentioned, but a big one that I will defend is Kingdom Rush. Some people said that I just put it on in the background and then like completely disrespected it by not talking about it. As I said earlier, when I am doing games and I'm talking about them, I try to pick like the next step up. So I picked something really basic, then a little more complicated, then a little more complicated. So I'm going from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. If I had put Kingdom Rush in there, it would have felt like 1.5 or 2.5. Like, it's good, and I'm not saying it's not good. It's good enough that I put it in the video and I enjoyed playing it, but I wouldn't say it's necessarily special or different enough that I felt the need to like break down every single mechanic in it. I could have done like an honorable mentions thing, but I feel like by including it in the video, that's kind of what I'm doing. You might completely disagree with me. You might think it's really unique. I didn't play it for that long because I had to make the video, so I recorded it long enough for a couple hours, got some footage, and then moved on. But yeah, no disrespect to Kingdom Rush either. I know it's a very popular game. It wasn't really in the original video at any point, and then when people online were talking about it before I put up the video, I went, whoop, oh, almost knocked my phone over. When I looked and I checked, and yeah, it was good. I just didn't feel like it was unique enough to break it down. And you might say, well, it's more complicated than the first game you talked about, in which I say, yes, you want to start off basic and then work your way up. Because if people don't know anything about tower defense games, you want to build them up. Endless Nights, the first person who's actually going to get his name commented because it wasn't like a terrible thing. Endless Nights said, sort of surprised you didn't do a segment on Warcraft 3, tower defense, besides the small mention at the start. Warcraft 3, as I mentioned in the video, got me my start into the tower defense, and, well, I don't know if it got me my start, but it got me, like, more interested in it to the point where I was, like, low-key obsessed with it. And I did want to do a little bit more. I don't own Warcraft 3. I've never been able to play tower defense at home. Every time I tried to figure it out when I was younger, I just got frustrated, and it was another one of those things where I just didn't know the history behind it, and I didn't want to start talking about it without addressing like where it came from or what it was. I didn't want to like disrespect that the way that people thought I disrespected Bloons Tower Defense 6 by not mentioning it. But yeah, and once again, it would be another one of those things where if I could have included it, but it probably would have delayed the video significantly. So I have all the respect in the world for Warcraft 3 Tower Defense because obviously it was a huge player. And then there's some older games that people commented on. And like I said before, it's not a history lesson. It's really just, here are some things that I like that make things unique. But yeah, so I didn't get a chance to talk about Warcraft 3. I'm sure there are ways that I could play. I don't know if I could just go online and download the game. Truthfully, I didn't look because, like I said, I kind of set a deadline for myself. And I really wanted to just adhere to that. So, another interesting one that a lot of people brought up was Canyon Defense. I played Canyon Defense just because I remembered it as a kid. I didn't personally enjoy it, but a lot of people talked about it being their childhood. I think I would have enjoyed it more had I given it proper attention, but it was one of those things that like I was filming it and then I kind of had it on in the background while I was playing and doing other things. But yeah, the Canyon Defense, I'm glad a lot of people got nostalgia from that. Same with Vector TD. A lot of these games are very nostalgic to me. I remember a lot of these in high school and stuff like that. And so it was nice when people were like, oh man, when I heard this song coming from this game, it was like nostalgia. That's exactly what I was going for. Because that's the same thing for me. When I hear those soundtracks, like especially the Bloons one, not necessarily the Plants vs. Zombies because I didn't play it, but I knew that with a song that good for a main theme, people would know what it was. So that's it for the comments that I'm going to address, except for one more, and the rest of this video is not going to be about tower defense. It's going to be about reality escape and the changes that I've been making, and then also the future. So if you're sticking around and not just interested in tower defense, this is probably going to be information that you want to hear. Misha, I hope I'm saying that correctly, commented, it was really good, but I think what made your first video more compelling was that you made some judgments about what makes a good clicker game, whereas this video was more descriptive with no real thesis. And I totally understand where he's coming from, and I left the comment, which I should have pulled up earlier because I'm a good YouTuber. I left the comment, I totally understand where you're coming from. What do you know? I felt like I had to analyze clicker games a little bit more because there was a stigma behind it, whereas tower defense games don't necessarily have that. I put in the video that I don't really consider myself an analysis channel, but I can see why people would think otherwise. So what does it mean when I say I don't consider myself an analysis channel? Basically, when I think of analysis channels, I think of people saying this is objectively good, this is objectively bad, and here's why. And I don't want to do that. And I talked about this in the last Escaped Reality podcast, but I know not a ton of people saw that. My thing is just to highlight what I like about things. And so I've actually changed the name of the series now. Instead of what makes a good blank, so instead of what makes a good tower defense game, I've changed it to what makes tower defense games good. So instead of saying this is what makes this game good in this genre, I'm saying what makes this genre good. Because that's really what I want to do more. I want to highlight the positives of these things without tearing them down, without people feeling the need to come and defend themselves when coming to a video. I don't want any, like, if I had just said, like, oh, Bloons Tower Defense 6 sucks, you know, and I'm not going to try it because I have to pay for it, I would have gotten tons and tons of negativity from more than half the comments of people who were asking for Bloons Tower Defense 6. And regardless of whether I feel about it or not, I wouldn't do that, you know? I just feel like there's so much hate on the internet and so many people trying to tear each other down that I just wanted to have a space where I could be like, you know, this thing, we all love this thing, let's talk about it. And I think a lot of people in the video got that. Some people, one guy said like I wasted 20 minutes of his life or whatever because in the end I had no real thesis, at which point I recommend, if you hear me say I'm not an analysis channel, that's probably a good indication to stop listening. But with the clicker game, like I said before, I really felt like there was a, you know, like my friend, for example, he was like, oh, this isn't a real game, and this isn't a real, you don't have to do anything, it's not a real video game and stuff. Tower defense, anyone will tell you that, yeah, it's a real game, you know? And so I didn't feel like I had to defend it as much, but I just wanted to highlight what I liked about certain games and certain genres. You know, I don't consider what I do, I mean, you could say I'm analyzing it, but I'm not analyzing it critically, I guess is the right word to do it. I'm breaking it down, I'm giving you an overview, and I'm being like, this is what this does differently, and I think that's cool. And some people comment like, oh, as a developer, this really helps. And then some people say, well, as a fan, all you've done is tell me what you like, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I've never tried to hide that. My videos are literally just me going like, hey, I dig this. If you dig it, cool. We can dig stuff together, and then if you don't dig it, let me know and we'll talk about it. And that's kind of what we've been doing so far, at least for the first 2 videos. So I wouldn't expect any deep analysis or thesis or anything like that. You know, the original video had a lot more stuff like that, and even before, like, when I say original video, I mean the idle game, clicker game video. And even before that script came out, there was a lot more of that stuff in there. And it's like, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not trained in how people think and how brain works and how dopamine is released into the system and all this stuff. So I'm just not going to talk about it because I don't want to get something wrong. I don't want to spread misinformation. And there are other people who can do it, who've probably already done it, and it's probably a lot better. So let's just let them do it. Instead, what I'm going to continue to do is tower defense. Oh, that's a great genre. I like tower defense games. Let's talk about some of my favorite. Let's talk about some of the mechanics I liked the most. Talk about some unique ones. Let some people feel some nostalgia. Let some people get reintroduced to some new games that maybe they passed over and never heard of. And then leave a comment down below talking about what your favorite is, and then I'll mention it here and blah blah blah. So maybe not blah blah blah. That seems a little passive. Anyway, my point being is that I'm not going to be looking at too many things critically. In the idle games video, I had a section where I talked about bad tower defense, or bad, why would I talk about bad tower defense games in an idle game? An idle video. I talked about how I had a section where I pointed out bad games, and I didn't like doing that, and that's not something I'm going to be doing further. Because it really just doesn't sit well with me to just sit there and bash someone else's creation when my opinion doesn't necessarily matter any more than yours. I have the skills to make a video because I went to film school, and so I know how to produce something and put it together. But that doesn't necessarily mean that my opinion is any more important than the person who's left a comment or the person who made the game. If someone enjoyed it, that's awesome, that's great, that's perfect. We don't have to get into it any more than that. So as I said before, I did change the name of the series, so it is no longer What Makes a Good Blank, it is What Makes Blank Games Good. But that's not the only series that's going to be on this channel. There's going to be 3 different series, and over the next couple of videos, we're going to be introducing them, starting in 3 weeks with the next one, which I'll talk about in a second. And you also might think, oh, 3 weeks, that's a long time. So the official uploading schedule we're going to run with is release a video, 2 weeks later, do the escaped reality, 3 weeks later, the new video. So there should be something every 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Originally it was going to be 2 weeks and 2 weeks, but it's so much pressure and it's a lot of work. And I have other things going on in my life. And then I'm also working on a really big project for Reality Escape right now. And if I wanted to do 2 weeks, 2 weeks, I wouldn't get that one done. And it's really something I want to get done and show off to you guys. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I am constantly dropping like Twitter updates. So if you're interested in wondering what's going on, where am I, if everything seems to go kind of quiet or silent for a little bit, you can always find me on Twitter. I answer all the questions and stuff that people send me because I don't get that many. So the next, I hit the cord. The next episode that's going to come out is going to be the new show, which is called Reality Escape, right? It's the flagship show. It's the show that I want to make more so than analyzing a genre of games. And what makes blank games good is not going to go away by any means. It's still going to be there. I'm still going to be taking a look at some things, but Reality Escape is basically a show where I kind of take a topic and I dive into it a little bit more, and I listen to your comments, and Escaped Reality is a huge part of that as well, because basically I introduce a concept like, what's your favorite NPC in a game? And I'll talk about a bunch of mine, and then I'll ask you yours, and then we'll do an Escaped Reality, and we'll get to hear from you, and we'll get to hear who your favorite NPCs are, why, what makes a good NPC, stuff like that. That's an example. That one's not the next video. That one's going to be coming out way later because I just don't have time for that one right now. That's a lot to do. But Reality Escape is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be in the same format, same style, same everything you know. It's just going to be less defined topics. Instead of talking about a genre, we're going to be basically asking a question. And you'll see at the trailer, this one, the next video is on simple games. And by simple games, I mean games where the design is really simple, where the appearance is very simple looking, where it's not the most complicated things, where you can kind of just pick up a game and play it immediately, not have to worry about the controls, anything like that. So you can check that out at the very end. Besides that, though, I don't think I have any more points to make. I really just want to say a huge thanks to everyone for the positivity they've left on the channel, for the people who have come and just joined in the conversation, because that's really what I want. I want that two-way conversation, because like I said, my opinions don't necessarily matter more than yours. I'm just the one who's having their opinions broadcasted, but I like to hear what you guys think. And so to have... My goal at the beginning of this year was to get 100,000 views. I didn't have a subscriber goal, but I had 100,000 views. To this morning when I woke up, I had hit 10,000 subscribers. I had over 100,000 views in the last 2 days, which is extremely overwhelming. And I promise that uploads will be more consistent because I'm going to fight that urge of like, oh, it's not good enough. You know, I'm going to learn how to let go a little bit. But yeah, it really is. It's been absolutely insane, and I know that 10,000 is not a lot, but it feels like a lot to me. You know, I've been making YouTube videos for a long time, and I know I kind of talked about this at the end of the Idle Games one, but I've been making videos for a long time, so to actually get these kind of numbers is like, oh, people are watching now, and I don't really know how to process it all. But to those who've left comments and positivity and just saying, hey, keep it up, you're going to go far, stuff like that, it means the world to me. And if you want to ever talk to me directly about anything, you can follow me on Twitter at Ghostboy259, the official Reality Escape Twitter at RealityEscapeYT. That channel, that Twitter I use more to update you on what's going on the videos. My personal one is obviously just me going off about whatever, but I answer any and all questions that you may have. Oop, almost dropped my phone again. But yeah, I'll answer any questions and anything you have there. It's just weird having people who kind of like actually respond to things that you say out loud into the void. And yeah, I appreciate everyone watching the tower defense video. Thanks, dog, for shaking in the background. I'm still finding my voice. I'm still finding my format. Things are going to change. Things are going to not really always be the most consistent because I'm still very much trying to learn how this game is played. So I guess just be patient is all I'm asking for. If the channel changes into something that you don't like, feel free to leave. I'm not holding you to here. If I never make a what makes a blank games good again, whatever, and you're like, that's what I was here for, you can leave. I'm not going to be upset because I understand that's not for everybody what I'm hopefully going to be making, which is Reality Escape. I'll talk about the third show more when the third show comes out. But yeah, that's really all I have to say. Shorter, but there's less conversation in this one. Just address some comments. Just to recap, I don't hate Bloons Tower Defense 6. Haven't played it yet. Might do a video once I played it just to let everyone know that I'm sure it's fine. Didn't mention Warcraft 3 because I didn't have a way to play it. I'm sure I could have, but it would have delayed the video greatly. And I don't consider this an analysis channel. I just consider this a channel where we can come and talk about games and not feel the need to defend one opinion or another. Just have civil discourse and just be like, hey, we're all friends. We all have something in common in that we love these video games, and to be cheesy about it, we love these things that help us escape reality. And that's why I named the channel Reality Escape, because that's what I want to help bring focus to. I want to help bring a deeper appreciation to these little hidden gems in our world that we waste so much time on just to help us get away from the stress of reality. And yeah, just to bring people together and kind of form a community. And I really feel like a couple videos in, we're really doing that. It's really uplifting to see people commenting and making friends in the comments and bonding over certain games and whatnot and recommending their favorite games to other people. It's been really great, and I hope that's something that we can continue to do. That being said, like I said, you can follow us on Twitter, and we'll give you more updates then. Hopefully that you don't mind that the next video is going to be 3 weeks away, but I want to make it good for you guys. I want to make it the best I could possibly make it, and I want to make sure that it's something that I'm proud of and not something that I have to just put out and move on from. I know that it's probably not going to get nearly as many views as these ones, but that's okay. To each their own. To those who stick around, I'm extremely thankful, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, guys. Oh, and just to mention before I forget, here's a preview of the brand new show, Reality Escape, which will be the main focus moving on, and this is just the intro to the next video that you will be seeing on May 24th about simple games. I hope you enjoy it. Let me know what you think in the comments based on the intro, because it will help me kind of gear how I edit this video moving forward and if I'm making a terrible mistake with my life. But yes, I will see you later. Have a good one, guys. There's nothing better than playing a new game and knowing you're going to be sinking a good 60 hours or so into the experience. Dragon Age, Mass Effect, Pillars of Eternity, the Elder Scrolls games. But sometimes you just want to pick up a game and go. No thinking, no studying beforehand, no emotional investment, just pure instinct. You want something that looks good, something that feels good, and something that won't require a ton of learning. While I would never say these games are easy to make, it just proves that even the simplest of games can be fun.